What's up, gamers? Hoops here. Welcome to the video. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. I really appreciate you. You can probably tell by the title and thumbnail of the video that today I want to talk about some of my biggest concerns regarding Battlefield 6. And so if you're somebody who wants to maintain the hype train, feel free to go check out my last two videos on Battlefield 6. They're much more positive and optimistic, talking about why I'm excited for the release of Battlefield 6 in October. And even though I'm sharing these concerns, I am still excited for the game. I'm really looking forward to what I hope is going to be a return to form for the Battlefield franchise. It feels really great to be excited for the new title in the Battlefield series. And so while all of that can be true at the same time, I want to kind of take off the rose-tinted glasses a little bit and talk about one of the things that I feel some people are possibly overlooking. I haven't really seen very many people talking about this specific topic, and a lot of that comes down to the monetization and microtransaction side of things when we look at the Battlefield franchise. So I'm going to start by talking about the character skins that they plan on implementing into the game. I know that we've been promised that things are going to be grounded and realistic, and I think that when we look at the Tombstone pack, which is what you get for pre-ordering the game, I kind of have a little bit of red flags here, and I'll touch on that in a little bit. I think that the main thing, though, especially when I look at something like the Phantom Elite bundle, which is like the premium edition, these are the skins that you're going to get. I don't necessarily know if these are going to be faction locked. And so this will be information that we uncover over time. If you can wear those elite skins on the PAX Armada team, I think that that makes sense. But when we look at the NATO squad, if your teammates are running around in black and red when you have on tan and light green, it does seem a little bit conflicting. Twitch released a couple of skins, and they seem like they're kind of faction locked. But then some of these other pre-order ones or beta skins, like, I don't necessarily know. Is this going to be exclusive to one faction? Are these exclusive to one class, one role? There's some skins in Battlefield 2042 that you can unlock on the road to Battlefield 6. And again, we don't necessarily have any more information other than this is what the skin's going to look like. But I do want to kind of focus in on Battlefield 2042 because they released the Battlefield coins into the universe here. And I think that this is a terrible system, and I'm really strongly against this sort of microtransactions inside of a premium purchase. Now, I understand that that's my opinion and that other people may agree or disagree with that. You could say, well, Coobs, just because these Battlefield coins are in the game, it doesn't mean that you have to buy them or engage with them, and overall it doesn't really impact your experience of the game. And that's true. But I also think that it kind of sets a pretty bad precedent for the fact that they can release this game as a premium $70 purchase, $100 if you're getting the Phantom edition, the premium edition, and with that monetize the game as if it's a free-to-play game. When we look at Battlefield 2042, some of us might not be aware of all of this. I certainly wasn't until recently, when I actually took the time to kind of go back through the releases of the battle passes. So with Battlefield 2042, there have been 7 official seasons, which means that there have been 7 battle passes available for the players to purchase. Now the battle pass is typically $10 or 1,000 Battlefield coins. And within the battle pass, if you purchase the premium battle pass, you have the opportunity to earn 1,300 Battlefield coins. So you spend 1,000 on the battle pass, you get all the way through the battle pass, and you now have 1,300 Battlefield coins to use for whatever you see fit. And you can even use that to buy the next Battle Pass. So from that standpoint, again, there's always two sides to every coin. You could say, well, Koobs, you just have to spend $10 to get the first Battle Pass, and then as long as you're playing enough to progress through the Battle Pass, you're going to be left with enough coins to get the next Battle Pass, and so on and so forth. And so one player could spend $10 on the Battle Pass, and they could get 7 full Battle Passes worth of cosmetics and unlocks and XP boosts and what have you. And they would still have some Battlefield coins to spare. That's certainly true. But in my opinion, something like a Battle Pass belongs in a free-to-play game. I can think of the Finals, which is a fantastic game. If you haven't checked it out already, I'd highly encourage you to do so. Season 8 is launching very soon, and so might be something fun and exciting to jump into while we wait for Battlefield 6 to arrive. But when we look at the Finals, they have the same exact sort of system in place, where you spend $10 and that gives you enough, in-game currency to purchase the premium Battle Pass, and then through the Battle Pass, you're going to get enough currency to purchase the next Battle Pass if you choose to do so. And then that can kind of cascade forward, so that all you have to do is spend $10 and you can get all of the Battle Pass content as long as you're not using the currency that you've accumulated to purchase other microtransactions in the store. The Finals is a free-to-play game, so there's no barrier to entry, and if you wanted to, you could completely ignore spending money on the game and still play and enjoy the experience. But Battlefield 6 is not going to be a free-to-play game. It's going to be a premium $70 purchase. But it still has this sort of microtransaction, Battle Pass, store, all of these sorts of things are going to be baked into what we're being sold. Now, as of right now, we don't necessarily have definitive confirmation or evidence that Battlefield coins are going to be returning to the game. And so it's very possible that the game launches and they say, hey, we're going to have a premium Battle Pass, but we're not going to have an in-game microtransaction shop. That's possible. Do I think it's likely? No, not really. Because given the fact that they can give you these Battlefield coins through the progression of the Battle Pass, it just doesn't really make sense to not give you this currency and then allow you to spend it on something, if that makes sense. So I see that being highly unlikely. And along with that, we have confirmation, of course, that there will be a Battle Pass. We don't necessarily have confirmation of the other stuff, but we do have confirmation there will be a Battle Pass. If you purchase the Phantom Edition, you're going to get a Battlefield Pro token. That Battlefield Pro token is going to unlock the premium Battle Pass for you, and it'll give you like a 20 level skip or something like that, so that you can progress through the Battle Pass quicker. So we do know for a fact that the Battle Pass is going to be a thing. When we look at 2042 and how they delivered their Battle Passes, so like I said, they had 7 seasons. Each season, each Battle Pass brought along with it a few new weapons that were free to everyone and a new map. Every season gave 1 new map, and then Season 7 gave 2 new maps. So that's also a little bit concerning, because if they stick to that same sort of content delivery schedule, it would mean that with each Battle Pass we might only get 1 new map. And in my opinion, that could lead to things being kind of stale in between, these seasons where we're getting new content added to the game. But going back to the Battle Pass, like I mentioned, if you purchase the Premium Battle Pass, you have the opportunity to earn up to 1,300 Battlefield coins. If you don't purchase the Battle Pass, you can still progress through the Battle Pass as a free-to-play, well, not free-to-play because you're paying for the game, but as a casual player, you can progress through the free, the free Battle Pass. And so, every couple of levels you're getting something for free, maybe a XP boost or a player card or an emblem or whatever. And within the Battle Pass, they also give you some free Battlefield coins. Typically, in 2042 at least, with each battle pass, they would give you 300 free Battlefield coins. And so you could say, well, that's also not too bad, right, Coobs? I mean, even if you're not paying for the battle pass, you can still get some Battlefield coins. But the fact that you're getting 300 with each battle pass means that after 3 full battle passes or 3 full seasons, you still don't have enough to purchase outright a premium battle pass. You'd have 900 Battlefield coins when you need 1,000. And then, of course, I can kind of look at that and say, that seems a little bit predatory if you're going to give players Battlefield coins, but then it's never really enough to unlock anything with, right? It's like, here's a couple of dollars, go spend it in the store. Oh, you don't actually have enough to buy anything? Well, if you just spend $5, then you could get enough coins to, you know, purchase this skin or this, you know, weapon cosmetic or whatever it might be. And then circling back to some of the character skins that we have seen, in particular, like I said, the very first one that I showed, which is I think they're calling it the Gravedigger or Gravekeeper skin. I think it's Gravedigger. It comes with the Tombstone pack. The character skin looks to be modeled after a character whose name is Pack, and he's from Battlefield 4. And for me, that specific skin stands out the most amongst the crowd because it's far less just a random soldier, just a random infantry unit, and it's more so you're this character. He doesn't have on a helmet. He's got on, you know, kind of more like a casual military outfit rather than some of this more realistic military gear that we see some of the characters wearing. But we also don't have any further information as to whether or not that character skin is going to be locked to a specific faction and locked to a specific class role. Can I use that skin on the Assault class of Pax Armada and the Recon class of the NATO faction? Or is it going to be kind of restricted to this character skin is for the engineer of the NATO faction? You know, if that makes sense. And the same sort of thing with all of the skins. We don't necessarily have that sort of confirmation yet of whether or not these are going to be specific to a faction that we're playing on and to the roles that we're, you know, selecting. We have a little bit of an inkling that it will be role specific based on the Phantom Elite skins, so the black and red skins that we saw earlier at the beginning of the video. We have an idea that those will be, this skin's for the Assault class, this one's for the Support class, this one's for the Recon class, based on the way that those skins look. But we don't necessarily have an indication of whether or not those will be specific to one faction or the other. And again, if you're playing Pax Armada, which was the kind of the dark, like hunter green, they had some, you know, some black on their uniforms, and you can use the black and red Phantom Elite skins, I think that makes sense. But when we flip to the other side and you're on the NATO faction and everybody has these lighter colored military fatigues, but you're wearing black and red, I do think, again, that there's a little bit of a conflict that happens there. It doesn't necessarily keep that sort of grounded realism and immersion that they say that they're going for. Because one of the strong suits, in my opinion, of the beta was that you could easily identify who your enemies were. You know, even in a game like Squad Deathmatch, which is what I've been playing in the background here, you could make the argument, well, Coobs, you can easily, you know, differentiate between which guys are not on your team and which guys are, and you guys have on the same uniforms. And that's totally fair. But I do think that it adds a level of overall polish and cohesion when you can say, oh, I know that I'm on this side of the, you know, of the battlefield. All of my teammates were in the light colored fatigues and the enemies are in the dark colored fatigues, and so that helps you with, you know, just kind of your target acquisition of identifying who your enemies are. And I think that that's a really good thing for a game like this. I think that one of the problems of 2042 is that with the transition to having specific specialists that you lose that sort of feeling because everybody looks the same. And so now you rely a lot more on the overall HUD elements of like, oh, I need a red indicator to tell me that that guy's not on my team, or I need to see that he doesn't have a green indicator above his head saying that he's an ally, even though he looks just like the rest of my squad mates. So I do think that that's where some of my biggest concerns come from, is in the fact that we don't necessarily have some of this information yet. I'm hopeful, I'm cautiously optimistic, but these are some of the things that I'm going to be paying attention to when the game launches, when we have people putting out early reviews of their experience with the game. I'm not so much concerned with the overall gameplay as I am with some of these smaller details. And a lot of that comes from knowing that EA is the publisher. And when I look at games like FIFA and I look at games like Madden that are released every single year at, a premium price, and then they have a full microtransaction shop attached to them so that they can make even more money off of the players, it does kind of give me some hesitation with Battlefield 6, because I am kind of concerned that that's the direction that they're going to try to move in and really kind of milk the player base for everything and anything that they can when it comes to some of these microtransactions and the battle pass and things like that. So those are some of my biggest concerns, some things that maybe weren't on your radar but now can be if you're somebody who's kind of still unsure, maybe you're on the fence. But again, still excited for the game, but just wanted to share some of my current skepticism. Thanks so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I have been and always will be Coobs. Peace and love, gamers.